In this video I want to give you a full tour of the garden in the plain. So this is the first row with Polonia trees that have grown a lot. This guy is called autumn olive. Oh, sorry, this is actually an apple tree. Sorry. And in between this row, this tree row, and that tree row, we actually we've grown a lot of zucchini and winter squash. The tree crops that are planted on the mound here next to the swale, this here is the swale, and this is the mound, they are developing pretty well. This is a pau pau, a very rare plant. This is a Goya, and as you can see it's quite okay. There are some small holes like over here where we didn't have too much success with our perennial tree species, but most of the space is actually pretty filled up, which is good. This is Polonia. This guy is called Tagazaste. This guy is autumn olive, which grows extremely fast and fixes nitrogen. Here you see the elephant grass. We actually put in the ground rhizomes of this size in May, beginning of May, and this is what's resulted from it. They are more or less 3 meters tall. So this is a very interesting biomass crop if you have access to water, because they do require water in this Mediterranean climate. Otherwise it just doesn't grow very well. So now I can show you the swale. Ta-da! This is the swale. Next to it the mound on which are planted our tree crops. So yeah, we're just gonna do row by row. So this is a row where we grew a lot of watermelon, and next to it here you see eggplant, which have been giving very abundantly this year. They did have some problems with ants. There are lots of ants here, and they're very annoying. They actually sting you when you try to harvest the eggplants. Over here we are creating a row of raspberries for next year's fruit production. But it's just the beginning, so there's not that much to see. You can still see a lot of butternuts that we've been growing basically everywhere. Here you see one of the few raspberries, golden raspberries, very, very nice taste. This is another tree row with apple here. And look at those Polonia leaves, they are just so huge, it's amazing. So here we also grew a lot of butternut, and now we are actually in the process of creating a winter garden. So that's what you're seeing over here. Lots of emptiness, and actually in this bed right over here and in that bed over there we planted onions and garlic. Look at this elephant grass guy, it's huge. Here we had some tomatoes. They didn't do very well because they were not really adapted. Actually the variety was not really mildew resistant, so we had some problems with mushrooms with fungal diseases, I should say. You can see it. So next year we'll definitely plant another variety, other varieties. We just finished the installation of a new irrigation system, because in summer actually we don't use sprinklers that much, because most summer vegetables are very sensitive to fungal diseases, and which are often caused by high humidity. So we mostly use drip irrigation for summer crops, but winter crops they are much more resistant to this kind of fungal diseases, so it's okay. Here you can see newly planted Romanesco cabbage bed with onions at the end and over there as well. There in the back, where is my dog, we are basically preparing to plant fava beans. Here you can see another tree line, which is pretty which has established itself pretty well this year. Huh? Remember, we put all those crops in the ground only when was it, in March or so, February, March, April. It's quite funny. There's a sunflower that actually came up all by itself. We also have some bananas. You can see here they have grown okay, not super well, but it's okay. Here in this alley we did a lot of turmeric or curcuma, and also some kale. I'm gonna show you, and some ginger. I haven't harvested them yet, so I don't know if it works. And some butternuts as well. There you can see the kale. And here's another site that we are basically preparing for winter vegetables. So this is our second swale that I just passed, and here you can see another alley with vegetables, different kinds of cabbages, broccoli, Romanesco, red cabbage, and others, I think. Cauliflower as well. This is a very nice tree line, the most dense tree line we have. So you can see there are plants everywhere, mostly helper plants or pioneer trees or pioneer shrubs, like this mimosa for nitrogen fixation, and this Bologna. This is also impressive. This Bologna is more or less 1.50 meters tall, and we planted it as a small 20 centimeter tall plant in, when was it, in July or so? June, July. It's really crazy how quick they grow. Here you see some blit, some Swiss chard in English. And over here we had some problems with our beets because we didn't have water for a few days, so most of them have died. So we're gonna have to replace them. Over there, onions and fennel, and in the back we're gonna sow other vegetables like probably arugula, mesclun, radish, and other things. Here you can nicely see the tree row with lots of citrus species such as mandarin, lemon, kumquat, very nice. And behind it we have another vegetable and tree line actually. So this is also a very nice system with an asparagus row over here, a tree line on top of the mound, and Romanesco cabbages. And there we have the next tree row with different species as well. Here on my right side we are preparing another vegetable garden. But because we added the compost recently, the compost is extremely dry and has a huge water absorbing capacity. So it actually requires a lot of water to make it wet enough to plant vegetables in. Here in our greenhouse we're gonna prepare also this area here for winter crops. I think we are gonna plant carrots here. This is our sweet potato harvest, or part of it. We're trying to cure them, as it's called, the curing process, to basically thicken the skin so you can store them for months. And you need to create like very warm 30 degrees and very humid, like 90% humidity conditions. Well, it's not very easy, but we're trying to do that by putting them in the greenhouse for a few days. So let's see if that works. So voila, now you've seen the entire garden in the plain here in Corsica. And by the way, it's still 25 or 27 even degrees. So it's like it's summer basically in the north. Really, really crazy. One last look of the whole garden with the beautiful mountains in the back. Et voilà.